It's not eToro. People keep asking me, what's the best brokerage if you live in Europe? Maybe you want to buy stocks or ETFs so that you can grow your wealth or earn passive income. But to buy a share of Apple, you can't just go to apple.com and click buy. You need to use a brokerage. And if you're new to investing, choosing the right brokerage is hard, especially in Europe. Who can you trust with your money? How do you avoid expensive fees? And what's the best brokerage for taxes if you live in Germany or Spain or a different country? The problem is, most videos on YouTube either recommend American brokerages, which are not available here in Europe, or they actually advertise. They use affiliate links to make money when you sign up with a recommended brokerage. So it's hard to find reliable information and you get stuck. If that sounds familiar, then this is your lucky day, because this video is the ultimate guide to picking your brokerage for Europeans. I've invested hundreds of millions of euros as a professional investor, and I'll give you my 5-step process for choosing the best brokerage wherever you live in Europe. At least one of these steps is totally counterintuitive. It's the exact opposite of what everyone else is doing these days, but it's essential. So don't choose your brokerage before you've watched this video. Step number 1, safe beats cheap any day. A lot of investors jump immediately to the cheapest brokerage they can find. But would you choose the cheapest car seat for your kids or the cheapest materials to build your house? Choose a brokerage that you can trust. I don't mean a brokerage you trust today when you have a few thousand euros to invest. I mean a brokerage you will trust with €500,000 10 years down the line, because you're going to be investing for a long time, right? So how do you choose a safe brokerage? Well, first, make sure it's regulated by a competent financial regulator like the FCA in the UK or BaFin in Germany. Second, read the brokerage annual report. Okay, at least look at it. I want my broker to be financially stable. That means plenty of money in the bank and strong profitability. And third, investigate the owners and the management. Do you trust these people? Now listen, regulated brokerages on the whole are extremely safe. Your investments are held separately from the brokerage's assets, so if the brokerage runs into trouble, you should be fine. But scams and exceptions do happen. And even when the protection mechanism works, it can still take months or even years to get your money out. Just ask the clients of MF Global, which went bust in 2011. So it's best to pick a brokerage which is really stable and reliable. Step number 2, learn to stop worrying and love your taxes. Investment taxes are the biggest problem for European investors. There are more than 30 different tax regimes across Europe. In each country, the best investments and the best brokerages are different. Don't be like my friend Robert, who started buying ETFs and then asked me 2 years later,
"Hey Tom, shouldn't I be paying taxes?"
Uh-oh, no good. Very bad. Figure out your taxes before you start investing. I actually have a separate video on this. But when it comes to your brokerage, here are 2 reasons that taxes matter. First, local brokerages may offer tax-advantaged accounts, which let you save a ton of money. This happens in a lot of European countries, including the UK, France, Denmark, Sweden, Hungary, Poland, Romania, and others. Second, in almost all European countries, local brokerages are more convenient for tax reporting. In fact, in some countries like Austria, you'd have to be a masochist to use anything except the local brokerage. In short, local brokerages tend to be better for taxes. Unfortunately, they also tend to be expensive and clunky, so it's a trade-off you have to consider. Now, step number 3, which is really important. It's exactly opposite to what everyone does these days. First though, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell. It takes just a second, but it helps other people discover this video through the YouTube algorithm. So help people out, okay? Alright, so here's step number 3. Be careful with fintechs. Okay, a lot of people will tell you the exact opposite, but listen, imagine this scenario. You've been investing through your financial technology company, fintech brokerage, for many years. Maybe your account size is 50,000 euros or 100 or $500,000. One day you get an email. Your account has been frozen, pending an investigation. Crazy, right? It's a nightmare. But accounts get frozen all the time, and in many cases it's totally unjustified, just an algorithm acting out at a fast-growing fintech. So what do you do if that happens? Well, if your brokerage has strong customer service, you can hopefully talk to someone and get a real human being to look at your case. It's still gonna be difficult, but at least it's doable. If your brokerage is a fast-growing fintech with automated chat support or something, then good luck. It might take weeks or months to resolve solve anything. So here are two things you can do to reduce this risk. First, use a couple different brokerages, so if there are issues at one, all your money doesn't get frozen at once. Second, prefer older, more established brokerages with a proven track record of good customer service. Just make sure you don't overpay. I'll explain that in a second. Okay, step number 4. Check product offering. Some brokerages are like enormous shopping centers. Others are like boutiques where you get a few select brands. So check that your brokerage offers the investments that you need. For example, if you live in Europe and want to buy ETFs, make sure your brokerage offers plenty of ETFs domiciled in Europe. If you don't know what that means, watch this video on the best ETFs for European investors, where we discuss why the big famous American ETFs are not available in Europe and what you should buy instead. This is where eToro falls down, by the way. eToro is possibly the most heavily advertised brokerage in Europe, but in my opinion, it sucks for ETF investing. Their selection of ETFs is quite poor, and besides, the platform runs on dollars, not euros. This means you're gonna spend a lot on currency exchange fees. So before I get to step number 5, which almost everyone gets wrong, by the way, step 5 is really important if you don't want to overpay for your brokerage. Here's a quick note. If you've still got questions about picking a brokerage, or if you've been wondering which ETFs are best for your country in Europe, or how to build a passive income portfolio, or how to deal with investing taxes, I've got a training for European investors called the Index Masterclass. It takes you from zero to invested in just a few weeks, no matter where you live in Europe. And it includes a lot of resources like detailed brokerage reviews. It has helped over 1,000 people all across Europe, and you can find out more at go.indexmasterclass.com or see the link in the description of this video. So here's step number 5, which almost everyone gets wrong, and it's this: go cheap, but do it right. Remember how I said don't choose the cheapest broker you can find? Well, that's true, but fees are important. Every euro that you pay in fees is a euro that you can't spend on caviar and champagne when you retire early on your yacht. Now here's the part everyone gets wrong. People get hyper-focused on transaction fees. If you pay 10 euros every time you buy or sell an ETF, that's your transaction fee. And it matters. I mean, if you're an active trader who buys and sells stocks every day, keeping transaction fees low is super important. But for long-term investors who only make a few transactions per month, there's a different kind of fee that is more important. That's the custody fee. Custody fees grow with the size of your account. If your broker charges a custody fee of 0.1% per year, that's only 1 euro when your account is 1,000 euros, but it's 1,000 euros when it's 1,000,000, and that sucks. So you don't want to pay custody fees. Also, avoid inactivity fees, where brokerages punish you for doing the right thing and not trading too often. There are some popular brokers online which pull investors in with low transaction fees, but then hit them with horrible custody or inactivity fees. Saxo, I'm looking at you. Do better. My advice to long-term investors is simple. Pick a brokerage with no custody or inactivity fees. To learn more, check out the link to my training program in the description of this video. Leave a comment, hit like, subscribe, and watch this video that I did on the best ETFs for European investors.